everybody. Welcome into the Beehive. I'm your host, TheBee at LLC, and this is where we stack precious metals like it's pollen and nectar. Our pollen is silver and our nectar is gold. We bring our wealth and plenty of gold. Oh, had a little issue there. Sorry about that. And yeah, today we are going to be having an auction. We got nickel, or I guess it's 888 the Great, formerly known as nickel stacking, joining us here in a second. But I'm going to run through the instructions here. Let me pull those up. So, must be responsible to purchase in this auction. Email me longlivecoins@gmail.com with any wins you make throughout the night. Please include what you won and at what price, along with your YouTube name and address you would like it shipped to. I will send an invoice through Clover to your email, which includes many form of payment. And if none of the payment methods in the invoice work well for you, we can also do Zelle and Cash App. All of those are free, except if you use PayPal, please add 4% to your total. And shipping is $7 in the US. And the top bidder with the highest total value gets a freebie, a 1 gram 3/9 fine silver Valcombi bar. And you can't win 2 auctions in a row. And we're going to do dollar increments up to 100 and $5 increments over 100. My guests are always welcome to bid, as well as the moderators. And nickel, you get free shipping if you so decide to purchase anything for helping me out tonight. I do appreciate it. And there's no insurance bids. And we will run a 3-minute timer and then count it down. 3, 2, 1, sold. And ancient coins sold here come with a lifetime money-back guarantee to be genuine. If anybody needs a payment plan, just send me an email. We have up to a 4-month payment plan. And
what happened to Rule 9?
It's been discontinued.
Okay.
Hey, 3D, welcome in. Good to see you.
Well, Rule 9 is pay attention to all the other rules.
So, nickel, or just 888, is this an official change, or is this a temporary change with the 888?
Oh, I thought you were going to ask me about being a rhino. Well, I only took the rhino name because that's what everybody says I am now. So I said, well, I'll accept it. When you can't beat it, join it. So I said I'll just be known as the rhino now.
So where's the 888 coming from?
Oh, that's when I was in the flea markets. I was vendor 888, and the reason I chose that is because that made, when they checked me out, my item out, they couldn't make a mistake, because if you look at 888 upwards or downwards or upside down or backwards, it's always 888. So they didn't make as many mistakes. So therefore I got credit for the sale. So that's why I chose. It also means prosperity.
Okay.
3D Woodworks is here. How about that?
Indeed. Okay, so we're gonna get right into this one. I did not get the video made, but we're gonna start off with number 1, which is a 2023 Antigua Barbuda. And my camera is a little shaky, but this is a very cool coin, Antigua Barbuda. It's got a rum runner. It's got a ship in the background, some barrels, and a pirate there.
Well, back when I smoked cigars, some of the best cigars I ever had were the hand twisted rum cigars. They were really good.
Oh yeah.
I guess they soak them in rum, or I don't know how they flavor them, but however they did, they were some of the best ones I ever had.
Cool. So it's Eastern Caribbean Central Bank, ECCB there in the middle. 1 ounce, 3/9 fine silver. It is a coin. Antigua Barbuda. We're going to get this entered in at 45. Grab the... Oh, come on now. Close you.
The Westies are here. Cranky is here. Joseph.
Cranky.
Jolo.
Joseph, welcome in. Oh, West Texas, welcome in. Good to see you. Okay. We got...
I wonder if that's Westy, Mrs. Westy, or Mr.
I wonder. I suppose you could ask kindly there, Mr. Rhino. So good to see you, Cranky. How you doing? Good to see you too there, West Texas, whether it's Mr. or Mrs. Whoa, I just lost my screen here. Wonder what that was from. Oh, there it is. Decided to come back. That's nice. Yeah, it is kind of a cool coin. I agree. I gotta adjust my camera a little too, don't I? Bring that down a bit. Get some better anglage going there. A little better. So yeah, what's going on? You know, there's been a lot of I was watching today, and there's talk of more and more sellers on the silver squeeze than buyers, and there's been quite a bit of negative push, it seems like, from the community on the silver squeeze idea. And you know, I don't know where its origins are from. I mean, I know it came off of the GameStop squeeze in paper originally, but I don't know where the second one was coming from. I kind of wish I knew. But I do think it's sad to see people selling off. I just think it's such a bad time to get out of precious metals, you know, thinking that it's going to go down.
I think the time, if any time at all, ever in history, is buy silver now.
I agree.
Buy it, hold it, or, you know, and like I was telling to you before we got on, if you have gold, if anything, I would sell gold and then take that money and buy the silver, because the ratio between gold and silver is outrageous right now. It's what, only one other time has it been greater than this. So
okay.
Silver is, I'm telling you, silver day is coming. It's going to make a run up, and it's going to gain. That ratio is going to close, and you're going to be, and the people that sell out or get out of it are going to be wishing they still had it. They're going to miss that silver train.
Yeah, I mean, the things that I knew about silver from the beginning, or was told, was like, one of them was that gold moves first, and that by the time everybody finally gets out of silver and gives up on it, it will then outdo gold. You know, and I'm thinking, you know, is it really going to be like that? But here we are. I think we're getting close to that. That seems to be the case. Like it finally shakes all the people out, because they, you know, and amazingly, I think it's depending on, you know, what timeline you're looking at. Sometimes silver is outperforming gold, you know. So like if you back up 3 years ago, silver is outperforming gold.
Yeah, it's. I think it's done exceptionally well since I've got into it. So, you know, I got mine. My average cost price for my silver is $3.50 an ounce. So to me, it's doing outstanding. So yeah. I'm sure ain't complaining.
Right.
But, you know, but the mistake people make is the people that bought in, say 40 when it was 45, and they got in because it was in the news. If they sell now, they would sell for a loss. They'll probably put that money in gold. Gold will eventually stabilize, and if anything, probably go down some. Now, not right now, but it probably will. And I think that's when the people that stick with silver is going to be the smarter bunch, really. I think silver is going to pay off.
Yeah, I think silver is where I would want it. It's where I'm putting my money anyway.
and it's affordable. And let's
Right.
face it, how many of us can really buy much gold right now? You really can't, and it is going to go up. Gold is going to go up more.
Right, I agree.
I think it probably will get to 3,500 an ounce before it stabilizes, or things get better, or things are not as crazy. Because, like I was telling you, it is nuts out there right now. I mean, there is probably World War III is probably right around the corner. I mean, it's just unbelievable stuff that's going on.
Exactly. Yeah, there's lines being redrawn everywhere. It's like you would have just never thought that you could be here a few years ago like that, you know. Things are really moving fast, it seems like. And yeah, like we were talking too, you know, you've got other countries that used to be on, like everyone was on a silver and gold standard for pretty much all of history, and silver for sure was standard just for a long time in trade, and then when we went off and everybody was kind of connected to us through Bretton Woods, all of these we all went into Infinity Land, printed up a bunch of money, and now all of that, if those hyperinflate and go away, which that's their track record 100%, then all of that money, you know, has to find its way, all that value has to find its way somewhere, and you know, at least that's always what's happened in the past. So you got other countries that should be looking to get into the precious metals, let alone us. So yeah.
Well, and then and like we were talking, all these countries, you know, we had the 70s, silver got, or 1980, but inflation, stagflation, I think that's what they're calling it now. You had that growth all the way. It started from $3.50 an ounce, got all the way to 50, right at 50. And today's standard, if you went by what $50 is worth in 1980 and you compare it to today, it would be $205. So again,
Yep.
$205 is not an outrageous number, and it's not impossible that you could see silver be at 205 in the next few years. It's not impossible.
I couldn't agree more. It's exactly what I think too.
Because I think we're heading for another stagflation period. That's what it's looking like to me. You got the tariffs, you got all the political strife in the world, the Ukraine Russia war. You've got now, it looks like Israel and Turkey's heading for a collision. You got China and Taiwan. So yeah, it's bad. So I mean, I've never seen anything like it. I said, other than probably World War II, which I wasn't alive, I would assume it's something similar to that going on right now.
Yeah, no, that's it. Like everywhere you look, lines are being redrawn, and it's not usual to be in, you know, all this tariffs to be dropped today. That's not you. Like big things are happening. That's what I'm trying to like explain about the silver squeeze and everybody being so upset in the stacking community. I'd like to know where it's originating from this second time, but I don't know that it was meant to be such a bad thing. Like, because if you look, it's like I'm trying to say is it's no longer a level playing field where, you know, the dollar is just steady and you know, you're just trying to squeeze some dollars out of your customers to run the price up, and I don't think that that's necessarily the case. Because if our dollar is losing value like I believe it is,
it like every day seems like it's going down some. So yeah,
that's what I think. And I mean, I know like Russia saying that they're strategically stockpiling. Like we're at war. They didn't just say that for no reason. That was a very, that was to say something.
Well, and also every day there's a new product that requires silver.
Right.
Mexico is probably peak minded when they run out, which I think in the next 5 years they're going to. It's going to change the whole silver game because they supply the world with, I think, they put more into the supply than any other country. So that'll be a huge factor later on.
Yeah. Hey, Chew and how to coin. Welcome in. Good to see you guys. Thanks for popping in, saying hello. We got the 2024 Fiji Popeye the Sailor Man, 1 ounce, 3 nines fine, silver coin. It's in a capsule. There's only a mintage of $2,000. It is pretty pricey at $48, but that's a good price with the new capsule on it. And also at any time, let me come over here and make sure my cameras are working here. We have the Buy It Now special, which is these silver buffaloes, 3 nines fine silver, and they're at $36. So if you would like any of those at any time, just type in BIN for Buy It Now and how many you'd like, and they'll be at $36 a piece. But back to the main sale. Let's get this timer going. All right. Yeah, so yeah, that's what I see too, is that it's not just our own, like a lot of these other countries that you hear about, like I don't know, these I can't think of the name of some of them right now, but that have the hyperinflations. Like what's one? Well, Zimbabwe.
Well, Venezuela.
Venezuela. That's what I was trying to think of. Is this Venezuela is pretty recent and pretty, like there's some information if you go look on it like that. But those are all individual countries that, you know, they just had the hyperinflation in their own country, so you didn't hear as much about it.
Well, Turkey had really high inflation.
Had it. Yep.
There's some African countries.
Right. Well, and that's it. Every fiat currency throughout history, they all end up at zero eventually. And we, on the other hand, have been one of the longer running ones, and we're the worldwide we're the worldwide hedge, kind of. I mean, hedge, I guess is what you'd say. It's kind of the standard of what everything's valued off of.
Well, and then a lot of the countries, Japan is selling treasuries, U.S. treasuries.
Yep.
Russia.
Yep.
China.
Yep.
And then those dollars have to come home, and and if the United States ever has hyperinflation, we don't recover from that. How did we recover? There's nobody to bail us out.
Right. Well, and people laugh off this gold thing that's happening right now, these big deliveries, and I don't know what will come of that, but like there is going to be big problems if we don't do something. That's for sure. Like it will start hyperinflating away, but that may be, okay with the new idea and the new model that they have. They might want everybody kind of in subservient, placehood or whatnot.
And well, what is the gold to silver ratio now anyway? 92-1.
Let's see. Let me go check here. Yeah, I don't know. It's probably 90 something.
The mining ratio is 10-1. It used to be 7-1. I hear now it's 10-1. So and you look at the two prices: gold an ounce, silver an ounce. It don't add up.
92.1. So 92. We're gonna that's ridiculous right now. So
and 10-1 mining. However, you have to also figure in that most silver mined, at least here, is they're going for copper, and they happen to get silver as a byproduct, and that's how it's mined. So it probably would be a greiter ratio if we actually mined our silver mines, which
indeed.
I think, and we're going to. I think that's going to happen. I know that Trump wants more copper mines, so
And it may, and that's what I'm wondering, but it's still going to take more money to do that. It's going to take money to ramp up those silver mines, and it'll have to be at a higher value than it is now, and all that. So, hey, Kansas Kid, welcome in, and Gatito Oso, welcome in. Good to see you.
Yeah, copper is going to probably make a pretty serious move, and these tariffs are going to affect copper, nickel, some other rare earth metals. So it's I expect copper to go with a double. Man, I'm telling you, if copper ever gets to $10 an ounce, $10 a pound, that's huge. And then of course nickel. I'm sure nickel is going to double from where it's at now, I think it's a little over $8 a pound right now.
Okay, interesting. Hey, B. Taylor, welcome in. Good to see you.
But these tariffs will directly affect the base metals. There's no doubt.
Yeah, you're thinking that's it sounds like there wasn't an exclusion there, huh?
No, because we get a lot of nickel from Canada, because Canada used to be the nickel king. So there's a lot of nickel in Canada.
A lot of nickel in Canada. I know the story about the nickel in the bags of rocks for nickels in the comics. And the whole, what did you think about the nickel spike there? Were you expecting that when that happened, kind of?
Yeah. Oh, I think nickel's going to triple from its current price, double or triple.
Interesting. Hey, Emerald, good to see you. All right, so we have a 2023 UK Britannia with Charles on the back. It is 1 ounce, 3 nines fine silver, a coin, and a capsule. And it is just the regular 2023 Britannia with Chuck on the back. Oh, let me go get my info. Yep, I think it's something that the whole world might start moving more into. We're already in a 5-year deficit of it. You got, signs of things getting tight already in the market. There a little while back, we had at the retail side, it was dead, or not a lot selling, and some coming back in. But on the back end, the 100-ounce and 1,000-ounce bars were selling at a higher premium that the 1 ounce coins were at retail. So it was, it's getting eaten up at the back end, and the consumer is not even in the game right now. So, but yeah, I think it's going to get really tight when people go to get back in thinking it's going to drop way down. I don't know how much down it will go, and then it's going to be, premiums are probably going to just ratchet up.
Yep, you're gonna need more silver for medical equipment, because the baby boomers are all going to be decrepit here pretty soon, and so you're going to need a lot more silver in that industry.
Yeah, well, it's just if you think about, firstly, the silver market's small anyway, and people talk about, well, we won't have, we don't have an effect. But if like, it doesn't take we have a lot of billionaires now, and it wouldn't take very many of them to make a pretty big dent if we're already in a deficit. See?
I am surprised that with Musk or somebody like that doesn't really just like make an absolutely huge purchase in silver. I'm surprised that hadn't happened.
Yeah. Well, we've had a few pretty big ones here of late, and did you see this latest one here with the guy taking a picture? I think it was on X or Facebook or something. His was like 1/10 of the year's supply of mining worth of silver. It was like a few pallets full in his wherever he had it. and that's just one guy. So
They must have delivered that in a Brinks truck.
yeah, oh man, yeah, it was a lot. It was several pallets full of silver. It was like, my goodness. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I guess I just view it differently. That, like, I think the playing field is no longer level. I think that you're way smart by getting into the metals and don't even worry about the premiums. Like, if you're within a few dollars of spot, who cares? I mean, get the best deal you can, sure, but it's just for what's coming. I think you're just going to want to be in, because it could really ratchet up and become hard to get, and and then like gold it's on top of everything, just waving a flag, like right,
Yeah,
Nickel.
I'm surprised silver hasn't actually gained on gold, because it wasn't like this in the 70s. I mean, people, once gold got to I think it got to 850, if I remember correctly. It's high. Well, when it got probably about 600 or 700, people were diverting to silver. And so it's a little different today. I mean, people are still trying to get gold at this point. So I don't know how much higher gold has to get, but it will get eventually to a number that people will say, I got to go silver. And then I think that's when silver makes the move.
Yeah. And it's interesting how the psychology works. Like, I mean, I like gold too, but like, I just look at silver being this much undervalued, and I guess I just have more belief that it's going to do better than anybody else or something. But to me, that's the play. I mean, if you look at history, it usually does. It lags gold and then outperforms it. And I mean, if that's been the norm for the past, and what you know about the dollar, which it's actually the dollar that's the real issue here, and no one really recognizes it, which is what gives the paper dollar its value, is the people trusting in it. And when you know that shouldn't be there, and the trust is actually should be got most of it, hugely deflated, then that's an obvious play for me. But yeah, Emerald says the slow and steady wins the race for sure. Like, if you can do that, I started stacking back in 2017, and I'm just buying with anything extra that I get with my fiat, and I'm happy. It's way up. I started about $15 to get it, to get it was even lower than that at times, but it was usually 15, 16, 15 to 18, really varying when I started. And but yeah, I've been slowly stacking the whole time, and it adds up. But just at this point, I still think that it's a good time to get in, and not to even worry so much about the little.
Oh yeah, because it's 30. Yeah, it's 30% under its high, so that covers the premium. And you add the premium on, so
and inflation adjusted, like you said, it would be 205. What the 1980s high today, just inflated, adjusted for inflation, would be like $205 an ounce, right?
Right.
And so, and I think that this is not just like people say, well, that was you can't count that was because that was the Hunt brothers, and it's like, well, that was just one to me you can't, because that's just one group, one really rich person cornering the market. We have, look how many billionaires and trillionaires we have now. Like, this can happen.
China's developed since then. India's developed since then,
and all those people are stacking. And so, I mean, it's not something like it's bigger than just the Hunt brothers this time, is kind of my point.
Yeah, I mean, because remember back in the 80s, or early 80s, late in the 70s, man, I mean, China was rice fields. India was, I don't know what they were, but they have developed so much now, and now people have money. They do invest in metals. So our mining procedures are better. There's no doubt about that. Our mining is more efficient today than then. So that you got to factor that in. But yeah, I mean, it's amazing the difference.
Yeah.
And I'm shocked that silver ain't 50 right now. I'm surprised it ain't 60 or 75. And I don't know how they keep it under 50 like they do. I know with paper sales, but I still don't know how they do it.
Well, I think it's soon to change, and it already is. Like, we're right there at the 35, which is kind of one of the few known resistance points before it's, just kind of open skies above. On the paper side of things, I guess that is. $93-1. Yeah, we were just looking at that. Exactly. That's what we're saying, Emerald. We agree. I think that it will too. I think that, and that's the way it's acted throughout history. Is that it's what catches up, and then it outperforms when it finally does. But first gold is your tell that that's coming.
We were trying to think what's been the greatest number ratio, and I believe at one time it was over 100-1, but I can't remember what the total number was. But this is like one.
I think it was like 102 or something. I think I remember that. Yeah.
I think we're going to surpass that probably, and then before silver makes a move, and it's only going to get the difference so great, and then people's going to start buying silver, I think.
Yeah. Beavis and Butthead, 2023, 30th anniversary, 3.9 silver, 1 ounce coin in a capsule, limited mintage of 5,000. Grab my info. And go. So, what was that?
Beavis and Butthead. Yeah, I kind of remember them. They were in the 90s, I think, when.
Yep. I am curious this affects platinum. Well, I have a little bit of thought process in that because I've been looking into osmium too, which osmium is just a byproduct of platinum. And so I was looking at places where platinum is mined, and it's South Africa and Russia being one of the larger ones.
The bricks. That's the brick.
Exactly. Yeah, the bricks. And so we were kind of having trade there, and then I know that it's kind of seized up in ways. And so I think the price, that's why if you look at platinum for the last year or two, it's just been like flat. It's like a just I mean, you could draw a line flat at like $1,000 for the last couple of years here. And I think that's kind of why. So I would think that, yeah, it's, diversify is good, and I like silver overall, but I think platinum is another really good play for sure.
Now, when I got in, platinum to palladium was always about 3-1 in value. Platinum was the 3. It was almost always triple the price of palladium. The highest palladium got was like 650 once for me. I mean, when I first got in, and I thought that was unbelievable. I never dreamed it would ever get as high as it did. It got to what, 3,400? I just couldn't believe that palladium got to 3,400.
Yeah. Yeah, and boy, has it dropped too lately here, huh? It's down to like $1,000 now or under.
A little over 1,000.
Okay.
And platinum is still a little under 1,000.
Yep. Yeah, I think anything real, and I mean, and that's kind of it. Like, that's why gold and silver works so well, because you can get your food and stock your shelves with food, and that's a good idea. And then make sure you have water, get a good storage of water and filters, and once you have your basics and shelter, then, for future planning, gold and silver is a good place to be because it's the long-term preservation of wealth, and it doesn't decay or go bad or rot or,
And silver and gold make better jewelry. Platinum is nice. It lasts. They used to guarantee it 200 years. Now I think they say 100.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but palladium makes terrible jewelry, in my opinion. I have not seen any nice palladium jewelry.
Yeah, it's kind of dull, huh?
Yes, it's a grayish color. Maybe not when you first get the piece of jewelry, but in no time, it's.
Huh.
A lot of your class rings were palladium, and it was like a dull looking color to it. I never liked them.
Huh.
And rhodium, but it hadn't done anything. I mean, if you bought in the rhodium when it was around 10 grand after it come down from the 30,000 plateau, you're out of luck. Because I mean, I don't know when it's going to get back to even 10,000. I mean, it absolutely does nothing. I don't even think they trade that every day. So it's amazing where it stayed. It's basically within a 2,000 range. It goes back and forth.
Palladium, you're saying?
No, rhodium.
Oh, rhodium. Oh, yeah, rhodium. Yeah, goodness. Have you ever had any rhodium?
I did. I bought a 1 gram coin, token, whatever you want to say. It was really bullion. It was 1 gram. It was bullion. And I bought it for 115, and then I sold it for almost 900 when it got to the all-time high price. So,
wow, nice.
Yep, did real well with it. If it were to drop under 1,000, I would probably buy some. But it doesn't really drop. It doesn't really go up. It's just kind of stuck where it's at.
Yeah, sure. Let's see. Okay, so, we got a hand poured channel round here from 3D Woodworks. It's 1.5 ounces. It was poured on 2/5/2025. It's a Ionia of Ephesus B, and it's a very nice pour. It's toned, and this is the 4th in the edition. Number 4. Yeah, number 4. So, toned, number 4, 1.5 ounce, 3/9 fine. Ionia of Ephesus B, COA from 3D Woodworks. Very nice pouring quality, and very nice quality all around. If you guys don't know 3D Woodworks, go check him out. He's got a nice setup over there. He does coin rings and pours silver, so check him out. Made me a nice channel round. Very appreciative of. Let's see here. So yeah, so you started. What got you into stacking, Nickel?
Oh, you want to hear that story?
Yeah.
I wanted to invest, and I was looking. We had, it's back when you could read the newspaper. There ain't many newspapers today. I could go back and tell you, I was there when they invented the wheel, but I I want to invest in it, and I looked for investments. I saw silver at $4.95 an ounce, and I remembered the 70s and the early 80s, and I remember how high it got, and I said, I thought it was a mistake. I said, it can't have gotten that low from 50. Well, double checked some other places, and it was $4.95. So I said, I'm going to get in it. It can only go up. So I thought. And it was 1999, and it went down. So I bought some when it went down a little bit. I bought some more, and then it went down again, and it ended up getting as low as I think it was. I'm trying to think I think $2.75 an ounce. I think that's the lowest it dropped, and I thought maybe I made a wrong decision because I mean I just assumed it would just from that point that was the low and it would go up from that point, and it took quite a while to get to 10, but I am now glad I stayed with it. Now, of course, I've modified how I get it. I get it differently now than I got it then. I went right into bullion. I got the 200 Silver Eagles, and I got the rest in bars, 100-ounce bars, and I invested I think 11,000 initially, and I think I added about 2,000 more on. And back then, the premium for a Silver Eagle was $3 a piece. So I paid $7.95 on $4.95 silver.
Nice.
And so people complained about the premium. Think what I paid. 50 freaking percent.
Yeah.
Premiums. And back then, a bar was a subclass. So people, you wanted the rounds, or you wanted the eagles, or the maples, or you wanted the 1 ounce pieces, and the coins were more expensive to buy than the bars. You could get a bar. When I bought the 100-ounce bars, I think they added on 50 cents an ounce premium was all it was per ounce. So the world has changed, and I can remember it. Everything was Engelhart. It was basically 2 bars. It was Engelhart and one other. I mean, basically that's what they sold, or that's what you got. And now, they don't even have the Engleharts, I don't think, anymore. So everybody's collecting those now. But almost every one of my 100-ounce bars were Engelhart.
Yeah.
And so that's what I did. I got in there initially, and then I didn't buy any more silver for quite a few years. And then now, of course, the last 15, I've been really buying more.
Yeah, cool. Okay, I want to ask you a little bit about the big picture of how I'm viewing silver, and if that you've seen that originally or you see it now. But I want to talk to Emerald here. He's wondering, would you be up for a trade on your channel piece? I would, if you got a channel around yourself at about the same, or we can fill in on the gap as well, I guess, at some point. But yeah, I'd be up for it.
If I had it over, I would have probably bought Constitutional silver with the same amount of money.
Yeah, sure.
But see, 1999, remember, the internet hadn't been around all that long. Not really. And so, I mean, I don't even think I knew about YouTube at that point.
Oh, right.
So,
right. Sure, probably not, yeah.
Yeah, so, I mean, if I'd had more information then, I probably would have gone probably Morgan and Peace dollars. That's probably what I mainly would have bought in dimes. That's probably what I would have invested that money in.
Yeah. Yeah, that's probably a good idea. If you just had to do it and you were going to do into one thing, that wouldn't be something bad to go into. Indeed. What do you got, Emerald? You got something close to that weight in your own channel round or something, or what do you got? So, really, I still don't have a furnace, but it's something I want to do. Maybe I can work.
I'm telling you, that piece looks solid. It looks 2 ounces to me, but
Yeah, it is. It's a definitely a nice good pour he's got here. It's solid all the way around. And yeah, for those of you who don't know, this is from the Ionia Ephesus ancient coin from 400 BC, and it's got the E for the E in Ephesus and the phi sign in Greek for phi or F for Ephesus, and it's got the goddess Artemis represented on the back here with a stag and a palm tree, which was kind of her representation. And yeah, also known in the Bible in Ephesians as the goddess Diana. It's the same Diana, known by the Greeks as Artemis and the Romans as Diana. And this is a modern day coin. It says Artemis, that's the Greek. And it shows her with a stag behind her. And that's kind of the representation that's usually with it. And that's what this, I kind of use that old B coin, that ancient B coin, as my channel logo. So that's how I have this as a channel around. So yeah, let me know if you come up with something and reach out to me and we'll figure it out, Emerald.
Well, you collect ancient coins. I know that.
Yep. No, I have the original, the ancient coin. Have you seen it?
You've probably shown it on your
on my channel. Yeah, I'll have to look for it and get it out. Yeah, but it's pretty sweet though. Hey, T-Bird, welcome in. Good to see you. Okay, next up here, I'm trying to kind of move somewhat quickly. I'm going to put up this Panama piece. This is also a replica somewhat. This is kind of a modern replica. This was done in San Francisco in gold originally. I think they might have done some silver too, I guess, but they did a gold 2-ounce piece in a round like this, and also in a octagon piece. And they're both really cool. And it's the ancient goddess Athena on the front here, just kind of a modern replica of it. And then it's got the owl just like it was on the back of that ancient coin that has Athena on one side and an owl on the other. This is
okay. Now the reason the owl signifies wisdom, is that what it is?
Well, I think it represents a lot of things. Like, you know, I think for me, I think a lot of times they try to use as much speech as they can in there without words, and I think that's why they use certain animals or you know, like a lion headdress or this and that. You know, it's to show their power. Like you say, like an owl can see in the dark, we can't see in the dark, so that's kind of an extra cool power, probably, right? And,
horses is fast or quickness.
Right, exactly. And so I think they use those type of attributes quite a bit to show that type of power. Let me get my...
I see ancient.
I haven't said hello, Hambone. Welcome in. I can't remember if I said hello to you yet or not, but hello. Welcome in. Good to see you.
There's quite a few ancient coins on the local auctions online. I bid on some sometimes. So.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, but mainly it's pretty bad condition ones. Of course, I know you're not going to probably get great condition ones because they're so old, but yeah, I mean, they're most of them pretty warm.
Necessarily the A, like you can get really good condition. You can get mints. Well, it depends on the coin, but there's a lot of coins that you can find really good condition coins. They get expensive, but like, you know, they stand the test of the test of time. Like, here's my Ephesus B. Get this stuff out of the way so you can see. So this is the original right here. Yeah, and I love how you can see how it just got smashed in between the anvils and it splits open on the edge there. That's so awesome to know. Like, that that happened 2,400 years ago, basically. That's 450 at this point, probably something like that. And yeah, and you got the E and the F. Like, it amazes me that I can almost read some of this Greek, wording on these coins. It's just fascinating to me. But that's in pretty decent condition, really.
There's Rudolph.
Yeah, there's Rudolph. But so if you knew like Russian, you would know that. And it's weird, like, since I know a few different languages, that some I can kind of still read some of this Greek. So you got, hold steady there, camera. Quit wigging out on me. So you got O, and then that P is like an R, because it's the same in Russian. The P is like an R sound. So ora, and then A, ora, and then that weird looking, that's an S. It just it has, kind of backwards or squiggly looking, but that's an S, just kind of backwards. So aras, and then oi, kind of, and then that teepee looking thing, like an A without the line in between, that's an L, and that's kind of like Russian as well. So orasuloi, and I don't know where that's at, but it's just kind of cool that you can actually read an ancient coin like that. And not that that's the correct reading of it, mind you, but anyway. And this one I took out of a NGC slab at one point. Because I like to hold them, but that's why I go through there and know they're real. But that one's even been checked out by the NGC, and they said she's genuine. All right, back to our coin at hand. I'm going to count that one down. 2 and 1. Yeah, and let me show you the coin that I'm offering today. The ancient coin that I'm offering today is one of my favorite. Really, I mean, they're all so awesome, especially once you kind of learn about them a little bit. Let me get over here to that. So
they're like the T206 cards if people collect baseball cards.
Yeah, I don't know what that is, but that's funny.
Oh, T206? Oh, they're really rare. They were on the bottom of cigar boxes. The T206 Wagner is millions of dollars now.
Wow.
Harness Wagner.
So this coin here, Cilicia Tarsus Mazios, this was a coin that the Persians had stamped before Alexander the Great came in and conquered them. And if I'm going to zoom up here a little bit, and when you look, you can see on his chair. Don't worry, I'll adjust over there when I get in here. So this throne that he's seated on with these big bell feet, and then if you take this coin that came before the Alexander the Great, where they have Zeus seated on the back, this is Baal seated on a throne, and for the Persians that was kind of their most high god. Well, then Alexander the Great comes in and conquers. Let me just pull him out just since I'm here.
And the bird is an owl on there too, or is that what that is?
No, that's an eagle.
Okay.
But again, it has a lot of that same representation of strength and power and being able to oversee things and fly through the air, you know, a lot of power of the sky, you might say. And but yeah, so you look at that coin, and then this is the Alexander the Great. Let me pull up my pin here. So this is the Alexander the Great tetradrachm, and of course he's got that lion headdress on. You know, you got the bottom jaw here with his tooth, and you come around, and then you got his, it would be his top tooth up there, and you got his hair coming up over the lip of the lion, and the ear of the lion right there, just making sure everybody can obviously see that. And then this is kind of the oh, I'm off the camera there. The lion's paw that from the front legs kind of wraps around his neck and ties off there. But on the reverse, what's cool about this is this coin from the Persians with Baal seated on his throne there with his staff in his hand with a lotus flower on the end, all have representation in it. And then this piece, which is the Alexander the Great, and it says right there along the back, Alexandroi, or Alexander, and then down here, Basileos, which means king. So King Alexander. But what's cool is look at his throne. I mean, it's in the scepter, and there's a lot of the same imagery there, you know, and I think that it's probably pulled from that coin right there, because this guy was a satrap, and he was kind of ruling over Babylon when Alexander the Great conquered Babylon, and Alexander left him as the guy in charge there when he first came, and this guy, this Mazios, the kind of a under leader of the area, he gave his wife to Alexander, and Alexander said, okay, well, you can remain in charge here, I guess, you know, as a rough tale of the tale. But anyway, so I think that Alexander probably seen his coinage and just kind of adopted some of it in what became probably the most recognized coin ever, is this Alexander the Great. It was probably one of the most minted coins, aside from maybe the Athenian owl. But this went traded all throughout everywhere, lots of mints, lots of different versions of it. But I think this earlier coin from Mazios, I think is probably where that inspiration probably came from, that coin. So, hey, what are the possibilities? Welcome in. Good to see you. So
Didn't he die like 35 years old or something?
Yeah, well, yes, Alexander the Great, he while he was there at Babylon, he died. He pretty much conquered all of the territory of the known world and power, and walked into Babylon, where this guy, this Mazios, was, that gave him his wife, and then he died from a wound, from a supposedly battle wound, I guess. And died there. And then his generals started after a while fighting amongst themselves, and that got that whole territory that he took over got split up kind of between his four generals, which they have some cool coinage as well, but I don't have time to get into that at the moment. Okay. Back to the program at hand.
Hey, Emerald wants you to go ahead and go full screen and show the coin.
Which coin are you on? Oh, the one that I'm selling tonight, perhaps? I'll do that. Let me grab it and show it. I'll show you the whole thing. It's pretty sweet. And I'll go full screen for you. You can still talk, I think, if I go full screen, Nichols, so feel free to chime in. me zoom in just a bit more. Let's go 350. So this is ball, and this is a Persian coin. So like Darius of Persia, he was ruling over Persia at this time. This is a satrap under Darius known as Mazios, and he was able to mint his own coins. And on the reverse here, we have Baal seated on his throne. And I really love the Baal feet on this coin. You can see the little grooves in the feet of the legs of that throne. And then you have the staff in his hand, or the scepter, as it were, I guess. And then also he has in his other hand, he's holding the stick with an ear of grain coming out one side and a cluster of grapes hanging down on the other, and an eagle on the branch. So some really cool.
And what's going around his waist? It looks like a snake.
No, it's just like a draping blanket cloth type thing. You can see it going around his legs, and it's just kind of a cloth covering, I think. But he's very well built. Like, look at those abs and pecs.
Yeah, I know it. He worked out,
right? And for like a coin that that I don't know if you can see on his head, if you look closely, there's like a wreath, and that's like his diadem. It's supposed to be a wreath of leaves, kind of on there. And then on this side is just about as cool imagery. Is the lion attacking the bull, and that imagery is quite common in the ancient time. It's like on the walls of Persephone to this day. If you go see the walls of Persephone over there, it has very close to the same imagery on there. So, boy, my camera is just glitching out today. But I love this ancient coin is like, has everything that I want in an ancient coin. The toning on this thing is like, just too cool. Okay, camera, you're really starting to bother me here. I'm going to shut the camera for a minute. Try to bring it back up. There we go. It's a little better. So yeah, just the toning on this coin just looks really ancient. I just love it, and it's in great condition overall. Great stamping, pretty well centered. Good imagery. It's a very nice coin for being this old, and probably some inspiration from this coin is where Alexander came up with his coin. So that's what's on the chopping block tonight. It is a buy it now price of $2,700. I will put it up later at the end of this auction at a reduced $2,650. $50 savings if you want to wait. No, he says sadly he can't see the coin at all. I'm sorry, man.
No, that was when we were both on. I think you saw it now.
Okay. Let me get you back up here. Okay. Back to the regular coin. What else did we have for that? Oh, and so up next, I'm going to jump to, we do have another ancient coin that is much more affordable, but still has a very cool background and history. This is a widow's mite. And this was minted about 100 BC to 76 BC, but it was circulating in the time of Christ.
Yep, the widow gave her what, two? Was it two mites?
Yep.
And
Yep.
they made fun of her, and he said, "Hey, she gave me everything she had."
Right. She put in more than some of the rich people were putting in. And so this has got some pretty good imagery. It's off the flan a little bit, you know. Obviously, if you get it centered on the reverse, on this one you have a kind of a star wheel effect. So you got about half of it there. And it's a good stamp of it too. Some of them are pretty light. That's pretty defined. And on this side you have the anchor, and you have most of the anchor. So this is actually a pretty well centered on this side. You got a little bit of damage over here, you know, some corrosion from 2,000 years, but it's actually very well centered. You have the whole picture right there, just with a little bit of damage over here, but a nice big flan for a widow's mite. And to have both pictures like that, it's not too bad of a piece. We're going to put that up here. Get my info up on it. And these you can hold in your hand, and that's what's good nice about ancients, is getting them in your hand and getting the story. And
you know, another important biblical fact was that Judas, he wanted silver. He didn't ask for gold. You know, he got paid in silver.
He got paid in silver, yeah. Yep, 33 pieces of silver. And then they were probably shekels because they were in the temple. Or at least, I don't know, we know he threw them back in the temple anyways. And to be in the temple, for money that went in, it had to be, from what I understand, these certain shekels of Tyre. And they would have been 15 grams. So it's which is a half ounce, basically. So 30 grand you'd have had. He got bought off for 15 ounces of silver, basically, is kind of my point. Thanks for stopping by, Emerald. I appreciate you stopping in. And let me know if you come up with a trade for me on the dollar. That'd be cool on the channel round.
Yep, I'll be seeing you, Emerald. So why did he prefer? I'm sure if he would have said gold, they would have paid him gold.
I don't know about that. He was probably so. I think that would have been a lot of silver to somebody back then. And I think that he's probably so broke and obviously misguided in what he was doing that he was probably thought that was a lot, you know. But it didn't take him long to regret it. He got the bat, you know, like a few days he was back begging him to take it back.
Then hung himself.
And then he hung himself, yep. Yeah, have a good night, Emerald.
My band thing. What, the rhinos? He made my band.
Yeah,
hey, that was a music label, Rhino Records. Remember?
Oh yeah, I got a lot of Rhino records. Yeah. So what you're pretty hard on the right there, at least for Trump, and then now you're kind of pointing out some issues, and people are giving you a hard time about it.
Yeah. I agree on some of what Trump. I'm just saying there's been a big difference from his first time he was in, which I thought it was great, and then now he's pushing the tariffs a little too much, well, a lot too much,
right?
And it's just a different presidency. I mean, it really is.
This is a whole different game. I think, which goes back. I think that the bigger picture is happening, and I know that I suppose it's not fun to look at, and you don't want it to be the case and all that. But I think the bigger, there's more going on behind the scenes than meets the eye, I guess I would say. Like you're talking earlier, we got countries redrawing lines and new alliances of trade being made. And
well, he's incredibly wrong. Anytime the threatened force to try to take another country over, I can't go for that. I just can't.
yeah, there's a lot of that happening. Yeah.
That's a certain guy in the 30s kind of did that type of stuff, and so I can't go for that. I just think that's wrong to even talk that way.
Yeah.
And you got to honor a country's sovereignty, and you can't, if they don't want to be part of us, you got to let it go. If you can't force yourself on other countries.
I'm with you. Yeah. Yep. Especially
if you ask me the question, if you could vote right now again, would I still vote for him?
Well, probably if you only have those two choices. I mean, that's kind of the thing, is it's a wicked setup.
But would she have done the tariff stuff? I don't think so. But then again, there's other stuff she does that I wouldn't allow.
Oh man, no, oh goodness.
I think she would have made a considerable effort to ban guns, or at least some guns. So that would have been. I couldn't have gone for that. So, but we wouldn't have known the second Trump. So of course we'd be upset. But I wish he would run it more like he did his first term,
right,
than what he's doing now. I just think he needs to change a few things. He's done good with the cutting of government. Government size had to be cut down. That had to be done. He's the only one that has had the guts to do it. So I got to give him credit for that.
Hey, Al, welcome in. Yeah, no, yep, I agree. I have to give credit where credit was due when he took the school program away from the feds. I was like, my jaw dropped. I'm like, what? I never would have guessed that would happen for me in a million years.
Reagan wanted to do away with the Department of Education. He could never get in a position to do it, but he wanted to. And there's probably 2 or 3 departments of government Reagan really wanted to get rid of. And Reagan should have made his move right after he got shot. And he was recovering. He could write his own check, and he should have gone for it then, because he would have had an opportunity to do it, and he didn't. So,
yeah. All right. Well, let's see. Let's go ahead and switch over. Anybody want any 10-ounce bars out there? Let's put out some 10-ounce bars.
Yep, Elle's here. She's going to have to go back and watch the whole thing. She missed it. She missed a lot. Oh, you have to edit that part out when I mention Elle. You'll have to edit that out. No, I'm just joking. I didn't say nothing.
All right, so we've got up for grabs 10-ounce bars. Your first come, first serve. One 10-ounce bar at a time, a piece per person. We got the choice of an Asahi, a Provident, or an OPM, and also a Silvertown, classic Silvertown with a serial number 338172. If that means anything to anybody. Silvertown Landscape, 10-ounce bars at at 370. Actually, that number down there is wrong, but 370 is where we're at. So yeah, so I did not look at the, let's go see what silver is at. 34 still, but it was up. It was like 35.22 is the high, 33.42 the low. So almost $2 up and down, like several times back and forth today. It's just like goodness.
Well, don't be surprised tomorrow if the markets don't go. It could drop 1,500 points tomorrow. Dow could be 1,500 down. It's not unbelievable. Gold will be up. And I think silver is going to make a move. It could go up $2 tomorrow. So I'm just saying, I'm just kind of predicting that could happen. So you could see a silver up $2 higher than it is today.
Yeah. Yeah, just from the tariff thing, you think? You mean?
I think so, and all the stuff that's going on now in the Middle East and Russia is not getting with the program on any peace deal with Ukraine, and they're getting involved in the Middle East now. So that could cause a lot of problems.
Yeah.
And remember, I was up the whole night when there was Brexit. I've never seen anything like it. Gold went up $100 an ounce overnight. And I'm just going, holy cow. I expected a movement. I didn't expect $100 an ounce.
Yeah.
And of course, it corrected. It didn't take long to correct. Within 5 days, it was reasonable again. But it went up $100 an ounce that day. I don't know if it's this big. What's going on, if it's maybe not quite that big. I don't think it'll be that big a move in gold, but I do expect gold to significantly go up tomorrow. And silver.
Yeah, definitely could. I know it was already affecting, like I was talking with Ian, he was saying that the Canadian maples, the 2025s, a couple of the bullion dealers up top didn't get them because they thought there might be a tariff by the time they got shipped. So, yeah, I mean, wouldn't that be interesting if suddenly maples became a thing?
Well, yeah, I mean, that's my favorite of the 1 ounce pieces. Rounds, whatever you have, I like the maples the best.
Really?
Yeah, and plus it's 0.99. Was it
49?
Yeah. So that's why I have more maples than I do eagles. So.
Oh, cool. So did you I have my extreme, I think it's like the whole global monetary system is at fault and we got big, huge deception. But when we went off the gold and now we've inflated all this money. And so that's what I was watching when I came into the silver market. But you got into silver before even that was kind of a thing, right?
Oh, yeah. I got in when it was boring.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, it was dead. Silver was dead. Gold was dead.
Yeah. And see, I think a lot of the people nowadays think that type of atmosphere is still in play, and I just don't think that we're there any longer. And that's kind of what I wish I could get people to see more is, and I guess they will. It's just that sad for me to see them be excited about it and then sell out right before it takes off. It's like, what in the world?
Oh yes, I'm telling you, that's what I think. A lot of people want to sell their silver and they want to buy gold, and they're very likely to sell silver at a loss because they probably bought in higher than it is now. Then they're going to put that in gold. Then gold eventually is going to stabilize and start to go down, and then they're going to lose on their gold. I would say stay with the silver. If anything, sell an ounce of your gold if you've got multiple ounces and put that in silver because of that ratio. Because that ratio is not, between the two, it's not going to stand very much longer. Silver is going to gain on gold.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's Silver Dragons talks about. I think his ratio where he starts anything over 80 or 70. I can't remember what the number is. It's like 70 or 80. But he says then he just concentrates on buying silver once it gets over that, until that ratio closes more, and then he might buy some gold. But
Well, if you just think about it, if you sold an ounce of gold now and got whatever it is, 3,200 or whatever you're going to get, put that in silver, and then that ratio between the two, let's say it gets to 60 to 1. You've done well at that point.
yeah. Yep. Yeah, if you go back 3 years in silver, it went up. It was up 170%. So yeah, it just depends. And then if you go and that's beating gold. But then if you go back 10 years, then the ratio falls back over to gold a little bit. But yep.
What am I if my average cost is $3.50 an ounce and it gets to $35.50? On what? How much is that? Is that like 1,000%? Can't figure it in my head real quick. So I'm up. I'm pretty much up.
Oh, you're up.
Yeah. I don't think I can lose. I don't say I could ever lose on silver. The only way it would have to be an absolute collapse, which I don't know how it would be, but it'd have to be a total collapse. And even if it got to $3.50 an ounce, I'm even. It had to go below $3.50 an ounce for me to lose. And I only lose if I sell. If I had to sell.
Right. Now, I think you got some room to relax there. So I'm going to jump over here. We're going to go into Osmium here. Vegas Stacker, welcome in. Good to see you. I'm going to jump over and take a look at Osmium when I first got my eyes on it. And then we'll put a piece up for sale. So this piece of osmium here was, did you say 52 grams?
52 grams, so around $73,000.
$73,000. Can you, just move that a little bit in the light so people can. Oh my goodness.
And for the camera, that's actual sunlight coming through the window hitting that. So it actually got named the sunshine element in the US.
I can see why. My goodness. That is crazy. Beautiful. And this is featured here with Bitcoin and Ethereum. What's going on with this right up here?
Yeah, that's an author was just talking about the similarities.
So this piece of osmium here. Yeah, so we got a piece of osmium here up for sale. And this again is a platinum byproduct. And the rarest stable element known to man, the densest element known to man, and it's what, we'll go check the price here in a minute, but $1,600 a gram is probably one of the most noble metals, if not the most noble. Does not corrode. It's almost as hard on a hardness scale as diamonds. And pretty interesting. Pretty interesting metal. I'll get it under the microscope here in a second. Hopefully here. Lights, camera, action. Swap bullet number 1 Ola. Oh, there you are.
Supposed to be some bad weather moving through. We're supposed to get some rain. I think Tennessee, they're expecting some flooding, and it's going to head east.
I seen, who was it? I think it was Kansas Kid said he had some tornadoes right up above, 2 tornadoes or something touching down above him. Hope he made it out of that okay.
Are you putting that up for sale?
Yep.
And it's a, what's the sparkle?
It is no, it's a 2.
Okay.
2 millimeter square sparkle grade 2 versatile sparkle. Let's see, here we go. Let me share. We'll go take a look at it on the interwebs. Share this tab instead. Okay, we have, so it comes in this little, oh, got it. Camera. Where's my, oh, there we go. So yeah, it comes in this little vial, or it can come in a few different cases, but this particular piece came in a vial. It's 2 millimeters squared, and this little code down here on the bottom, the Q2PAQCHL9E, I'm going to put that into this little box right here for the osmium identification. So Q2 PAQCHL9E. Okay. And then this is the piece that we are looking at. Well, let's take a look at the high resolution picture here, which is also what I have highlighted in the corner there under the microscope. So this is what it looks like up close. Again, this is osmium in crystalline form, the densest element known to man, basically, and one of the shinier materials, most reflective. And it's a very, very cool piece of metal. Each piece has its own code built into it. So just like a snowflake forms when they make this, it forms through this crystalline process and has its own code built in, and they get high resolution 3D photos and document each piece, gathering its code, and that way you can authenticate it, verify it, make sure it's real just by checking the code. And also it ties it to your name if you buy it, making you the only owner of it and the only person that is allowed to sell it. And yeah, it's kind of a cool new unique metal, and another way to stack. And I'll go show you also the price chart. Since it started, it's about a 12-ish year old product now. Where did you go? Tab. Okay, so here we are. This is the osmium price. Let's put it in US dollars. And let's go to all. And so we started back here in May of 2017 at about $560. And we've ridden up a nice 15% increase. And I bought in at about 1650 right there. It kind of fell down after I bought to 16. And then now it's up over 1700. We're at 1726 right now. So pretty good chart as far as increasing in purchasing power. So that is that. I'm gonna put this piece up on the timing chopping block here, and we will run it. Oh, let me go back to this picture. Okay, and also, so this, you can get all the information on the piece here that we pulled up from its identification page, and it says we have an osmium square. It is 2 millimeter square. Its weight is 0.017 grams. And its side length is 2 millimeter. Average layer thickness is 0.19 millimeter. Sparkle grade 2, fine versatile sparkle. And 2720 euros is about $30 in the US. And my hike up on it is about $5, so we are at $35. If anyone would like to purchase this, I'm going to go ahead and flip the timer on it. And I'm going to bring the large screen up again. See if I can get a little better zoom on that.
What's the bid increments?
$5 at this point.
Okay.
But you can start at 135. Oh, there we go.
Well, you had a starting bid of 3D Woodworks at 35, and then 888, aka the nickel, the Rhino, bid 40. So you got
Got a little bidding war at the end of the night, eh? I got a little bit better zoom on there. That's kind of nice. Look at the... Oh, yeah. See, you can see each one of those crystals has its own little flat structure in there, and then that forms its code, makes it unique, and can't be replicated because it's the densest metal out there. So it's got some very cool, unique elements about it. And it's a platinum byproduct, and we were talking about platinum earlier, and it being a, like Nickel pointed out, kind of a BRICS related element now, because that's where we got South Africa and Russia. Those are a couple of the big ones in there, both BRICS now. And since the war broke out back in the day, when we were pulling platinum byproduct from those areas, and I'll just leave it there. But there's
no doubt that that's why it's probably being.
That's why you could draw a line at $1,000 for the past few years.
Yeah, right. So if the Ukraine war ever ends and the war in the Middle East ends, I think you'll presume to see palladium and platinum start to come back up again.
I would totally agree with you on that. 3D Woodwork says, oh, no, at 45. And we are winding down on the time. And then we will move on to our ancient coin and call it a night. $50 from 888 the Great. We loving some osmium.
L's going to wait to the very end and buy it. You watch. You're going to snipe it.
And I am going to count it down because we are out of time. And we go in 3. We've got $50 to 888 the Great in 2. And in 1, we have formerly nickel stacking on top. And we are SOLD to 888. And it won't highlight you, but we're going to call that good. Sold to 888 the Great. Thank you very much, 888. Very nice pickup. Nice little piece of osmium.
And 3D, he's waiting on that ancient coin. I know. Because he can make jewelry out of that. So,
well, yeah, probably make jewelry out of either one of these. All right, we will get that packed up for you here. Let me back off of the large camera. Okay, so now we are going to move on. Let me get that written down here. We got 888 on the osmium 50.
I think I got that for a better price than I got my letter.
Yeah, I think your eye is probably a bit bigger piece though too.
Yeah, I think I got that for 75. I think.
Yeah, that's probably about right. Yep. Cool. Thank you very much. And you got free shipping, so that'll be headed your way. No extra charge. Right on. All right. So now, last but not least, we get into our ancient piece for the night. Let me go drop over here and we'll get some info.
So this ancient coin is from Cilicia, Tarsus, Mazios, 361 to 334 BC. It's a stater at 10.84 grams of silver. And it has ball of Tarsus, seated holding an eagle, a wheat ear, and a bunch of grapes, and hand and scepter. And on the other side, we have a lion attacking a bull. And this comes in 100, 200 years after Daniel in the lion's den. And you get this imagery of the lion on the bull, much like you see on the wall of Persepolis. Very cool.
Okay, so that is the Mazio stater that we have up for grabs tonight. And you know what? That is something that's cool about it. So you got the imagery of the lion on the bull. And that's not long after Daniel in the lion's den. And there's just so many interesting things. The Persians there, the king of Persia then sent over and helped to reestablish and rebuild the temple for Jerusalem. And then not long after that, you have this guy being standing in the gates of Babylon, and Alexander the Great comes in there and takes over, and 200 years after Daniel in the lion's den, and you get this imagery with Baal seated on the throne. And I just find that very, very interesting to be able to look back in time like that. Imagine some of the things that they were used to seeing.
That would make a pendant I would want to put it in something that protected it, like a glass where you can see through it, but it would make a great pendant.
Yeah, this is a nice coin on both sides too. And it's got gorgeous toning on it. Just it oozes ancient. And then on your edges, like it, I love looking at the edges of these old coins where they're kind of just split open when they got smashed between a couple dies.
And they pretty much did that with hand tools. Is that right?
Yep. And see, look at the feet on that throne. Can you see the little round grooves in the feet? Even those big old balls on it. Like, that's such cool definition for that long ago on a coin, and those ripped abs and just all the imagery there is just so impressive. So yeah, nice coin. And again, kind of led to the imagery that goes, to end up on the Alexander the Great coin. Oh yeah, very cool. Looks like we ran everybody out of here. Okay, let us count this down. I don't think we're going to have any interest. So you see some ancient coins online? Are they more like Roman coins, or you see Greek, or do you know much of a difference of them? Or
I would assume that they're Roman.
Yeah.
Really small coins.
Yeah. Probably bronze Romans. Cool. All right. Well, that wraps it up for the night. We got the no bid on the Mazios, which means I get to hold on to it for a bit longer. I think I'm going to I kind of like this one, so it's probably going to be hard for me to find another one of this quality, at least at a good price like this, if you consider that a good price, I guess, which is just affordable range for me. All right, so, well, Nickel, appreciate you coming and hanging out. What do you got going on over there at your channel here lately?
Sports, most of the NIL and the Indiana Hoosiers, the men almost got to start over from scratch because they got a new coach. IU women it was shocker how many left her. They just don't normally do that. She had 6 leave her. Yeah, she had 6 declared for the porno. She usually has maybe 1 leave. She had 6 this year. So she's almost got to completely rebuild. So I've been following that. I've been following the tariffs, been following geographical or geopolitical movements and all that's going on there, which is unbelievable and frightening. And like I said, I think we're just one incident away from probably a World War III scenario.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so too, and I think we're just kind of looking over at Iran, and that's seems to be where a lot of energy is.
And the United States right now, I believe, is very unstable. I believe the country's still 50-50. I think there's going to be a lot of protests starting this summer. I think that could go. I don't know. To have a civil war, you'd have to have the police split. You'd have to have a split in the military and all that, and that may not happen. But it's still it's civil war to an extent, and I think that's going to be pretty bad too. And it's going to be depending on how Trump handles the protesters. If he decides to crack heads, then it's probably going to escalate to something worse. So,
yeah. Yeah, so you're kind of like me. You see, because I think, and I've been saying for a while, like that. I think they've been doing a lot that they can to try to kick the legs out from underneath America. And,
they want a reset of some kind.
yeah,
I just don't know what it's going to look like.
yeah, I think it's that's what I see. I think it's a lot. It's being pretty effective in a lot of ways, and I remember them hearing that the money was going to flee from America and that they're kind of done using it in the way that they had. And then, like you say, I think they kind of want to reset everything. And I think they just want us all kind of subservient and on just a credit standard of some sort is my guess. And that's kind of where my outlook I mean, it's not where I want it to be, but that's kind of how I see things I think.
Well, if they do away with cash, there goes your privacy and your freedom. You at that point they could probably control what you buy, how much you buy of it, when you can buy it. Yeah, I mean, I think there'll be a movement to do away with cash. Cash and change, and it'll just be everything will have a number and everything will be recorded.
That's what I think too. Yeah. Yep, and I was noticing just the other day on some of these YouTubers that I follow, good financial channels and whatnot. One of them had a little box, a little scanner code that just pops right up on his screen. Just take you to some site or whatever, But it's like that's just getting more and more prevalent where they're getting you used to just scanning. You scan the code, and then that code takes over, and it gives all the power to the computer, and you can't read what you're doing or where you're going. It's just, you got to scan it to see.
And I think I can safely say now the Amero idea is over. I don't see how you can do that now.
What was the Amero?
It was supposed to be Canada, America, and Mexico. A coin, a common coin you can use in either one of the three countries.
Really?
Yeah, it's done. That's over. I bet you Chef Stacker, would you bet me? We have a bet on it. And I bet you he wants to get out of that bet now. I bet he because there ain't no way that's going to happen. I told him that Mexico would end up joining the BRICS, and he disagreed. He said it would be one Amero, and that would be the Mexico, Canada, and U.S., and that would be a coin what we all three used. And I said, it ain't looking that way now. I've never seen anybody unify a country like Trump has. I mean, Canadian. There is no enemies in Canada. They put their differences away to the side, and they are unified more than any time I've ever seen Canada. But I went out today and had some mowing work, and I went by a gas station and it said "Buy American, Buy American," and in Canada it'd say "Buy Canadian, Buy Canadian." So, and I bet Mexico is saying "Si me gusta Mexico,"
Right.
And so you see the man. I mean, I've just never seen that. I've never been alive to see that.
Right. I mean, yeah, you hear about it, read about it kind of, but like those things are suddenly popping up and right in front of our eyes. Yeah. That's crazy.
So yeah, it's and before it's over, they say the other party is divided. I'm not for sure, and if they are, they won't be by election time. So, but where Trump did really well, they had these replacement elections because you got to get all them done for the House before 2026 starts. Well, and so Texas still has one to go. They think he's going to wait to December, the governor, to fill it, but he has to get it done before 2026. And I mean, where Trump did really, really well, the Democrats have picked up, and I mean they've cut that in half. So they would go to tell me the American people, and plus, I think 60% polls say they don't like the American people don't like the tariffs, and they don't want a tariff war. So there you have it. But I think we're going to have one. I got to wait till tomorrow to see how Canada responds to what happened.
Yeah, well, and I kind of think too that there's like, we're saying and seeing like there's so much more happening behind the curtain, like that is causing these things that, like talking about Greenland and just taking over some of these areas and all these lines being redrawn. And, there's so much taking place right now. It's not like, I mean, I know that what's been put forth in front of everybody's eyes is the tariff thing, and indeed it's going to have some effects. But I think there is probably big waves and effects already happening in the background before that rolls out, and this way it looks like he's got control of it somewhat. But
well, if I were Greenland and I wanted to join a country, I think they want independence. I don't think they want to join anybody. They want to do their own thing. But if I did, I would have more in common if I was Greenland with Canada than America. So I would want to join Greenland. I mean, Greenland, I would want to join Canada. They're right there they're basically next door neighbors.
Yeah.
And I would go there over wanting America to take me over, So it never made sense to me why we thought they would really want to become an American territory.
Yeah. Yeah, well, big dollars, but and we've been on we left reality such a long time. But what they've managed to get done in the meantime, is who knows? And it's crazy to hear him talk about buying. I hear BlackRock might be buying parts of Panama Canal, like the inlet or outlet or something. And it's like, oh my goodness, buying the Panama Canal inlet. I bet that was cheap.
Well, what America wants to do, they want to control the Panama Canal. They want to control all the canals and all the shipping lanes, because guess what? If you control that, then you control countries. So we use the dollar as a weapon. We use, whether you get aid or not, as a weapon. We use tariffs as a weapon. So why not control all the shipping lanes and then say, hey, you do what we want, or your ships don't come through here,
Yeah.
I think it's another control mechanism, like where we want to be able to tell other countries what to do.
Yeah, well, we like to do that, indeed. Indeed. Well, cool.
Space Miner came in. Gerald Draper, oh my. Then John Camper is in here too.
Yep.
They missed all the action.
Yep. It's all over. It's all gone.
Tell Gerald I won. I won an auction.
Indeed. Got some good stuff.
Guess what I got, Gerald? Well, Space Miner might guess it too.
Yeah, well, my guess is it wasn't crypto.
No. Oh, no. Like I said about that, I could have bought Bitcoin when it was around $2. Okay. That's just unbelievable, isn't it? Mm-hmm. But I would have sold it at 100. Right?
I mean, I knew back in the day, and I didn't want it. I knew it would go up, but I don't want anything to do with it, because I know that it's the enslavement of America.
Well, but I never saw it. I never thought it would get to 100,000, but I would have sold at 100, because I was saying I'm making a killing. I'm making 50 times what I paid. Yeah. So I might have even sold it at 50. I would have never kept it anyway, even if I would have bought it at 2. So it doesn't bother me. It doesn't bother me that it's up there, and I could have had it for $2, and but I knew people that when it first came out, I knew people got in it, and they were talking to me. Hey, you ought to get this. It's the future. It's going to do da. Yeah. And but now it's supposed to already got to 1 million. Remember that. So so it never got to 1 million yet, and it was supposed to get to 1 million. That's what I was told. And I'm thinking, you didn't put your glue top on tight enough or something, son. But no, I could have got in. I didn't. I like physical assets. I like something I know where it's at for sure. I don't want something floating out there in space. I don't want power outages and then I can't do nothing. So I go for physical. That's metals, art, gemstones. I go for the physical type deal, and that's what I invest in. So
You like reality, Nickel.
yeah. I don't like science fiction. I'm not a big science fiction fan.
Yeah.
You know, they ruined Star Wars. In my opinion, they've ruined Star Trek. I mean, the older stuff was better, but yeah, I'm not a science fiction kind of guy. So
Yeah, I've never even seen the movie Star Wars.
the original.
Yep. So yeah, no, never seen. Star
Oh
Wars.
man, the first three are the best ones. These newer ones they make. Well, I'll tell you the problem they got. They're supposed to go back and you know, in time, and the technology on the newer movies is better than the original movies they made, and so it didn't work. You'd have to make the technology less than the original three because the original three took place supposedly later on. You see what I'm saying? So it didn't work because they couldn't downgrade the technology they used to make the movie. So that's why that didn't work. That's why I didn't like the newer movies. I did not like it. Star Trek, the best one is the Wrath of Khan. If you have never seen it, you got to watch it. That one is a good one. It's better than all the other Star Trek movies combined.
Huh. Yeah, I don't know. I kind of like being one of the few now that I'm one of the rare, because everybody, like, you know, they all they go down their lanes and they do their, you know, hand gestures and their names and they get all excited and talk about it. And I'm like, yeah, all right. I don't know.
Well, now they got all these TV shows based on Star Wars. You got the little baby Yoda. What's it called?
Yeah.
Whatever. They got the little baby Yoda show. I guess that's still on. I don't know. I don't watch it, but I see baby Yodas everywhere in the stores. I mean, they got them everywhere. And I thought it's cute, you know, kind of cute. You know, something can be so ugly it's cute.
Yeah.
And I guess they do pretty well in sales, but no, I never. If I was a kid, let's be honest, if I was 8 or 9, I'd probably be into it. Probably.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I don't know. There's some weird fads out there, you know, and it's just some of them are really weird, and I'm kind of glad that I don't. You know, I just kind of recognize them as weird, and I like to leave them as weird.
Well, and yeah, the women with the pink hair now and tattoos over every inch of the body. I mean, yeah, I don't go for that. I'm more conservative. I'm sorry. Maybe I guess that's what I'm saying. I can't be a rhino. I'm too conservative to be a rhino.
Yeah, that's funny.
I'll tell you something. I have a piece of a rhino that's been made into jewelry, and that's unbelievably expensive. But I can't sell it because it's illegal. So
yeah,
but it's kind of like a coin. It's cut in like a slice of the rhino horn.
cool.
And it's on a necklace, and oh man, that's mucho expensive. I mean, it's unbelievable how expensive that piece is. Yet I can't do nothing with it other than just admire it.
Well, you know what's cool is like you could sell it as something else. Like I know that they have ancient dice, like that you can buy. Like I seen some at HJB, old Roman dice, like 2,000-year-old dice and made out of
Ivory. Yeah, I have some ivory dice.
That's cool, right there.
I've got an ivory chess set.
Cool.
So some of it's ivory, and the opposite is I think lapis.
Nice. Hey, Mr. Monkey Swag, welcome in. Good to see you, bud. We just ran one of my more favorite ancient coins over here. A little bright there, but
yeah, ivory. I believe there'll be I think eventually it'll be made legal again, and you'll build a profit on that for about a 2-year period, and then I think the prices will go way down on it. And you know, because when all the elephants die out, and they're going to, they don't do well in captivity. So about the only way they can make sure that they're reproducing is captivity, and they don't do as well. Eventually they die out, and when they die out, that's the main animal they're protecting. You have your walruses. They have ivory. There's other animals, but when they die out, and I think the elephants will, then why would you still keep it illegal, right? I mean, there's nothing to kill for it. You're not going to kill any more for it.
Right.
And I think there'll be an explosion in ivory for about a couple of years, and then I think, like I said, I think the price will go way down on it. But I got a lot of ivory. I do have a lot of ivory. I probably have 1,000 pieces.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of iron arrowheads, isn't there, Mr. Monkey? There's a lot of throwing arrows back there, throwing spears.
Carbon card. Gerald Draper's talking about a carbon card.
Yeah, there'll be carbon cards. We already seen. They already have. You go to buy a flight. There's already little messages that will pop up and say, "Oh, if you take this flight, you'll save X amount of carbon credits," or something like that. I'm like, oh my goodness.
Another thing to watch out for too is I believe Trump is going to leave NATO. And he definitely would have to leave NATO before he took anything by force, because these other countries he's talking about, not to Panama, but Greenland, they're a member of NATO, if I understand, or the country that's their sponsor, they are NATO. So a NATO country would not attack another NATO country. So before he does anything like that, he'll get out of NATO, I think. I think he wants to anyway.
Interesting, yeah. Yeah, the NATO thing kind of is not looking so good.
I think its day is come and gone, really.
Yeah.
But I think NATO's getting weaker. I think the BRICS are getting stronger. That's just how I look at it.
That's what I do too. It's not like it's necessarily what I want, but that's just, it seems to be what I see as well. And for some obvious reasons, to be honest. I mean, sadly.
Well, there's the majors and the minors. There's a lot of country that are minors, and they won't become a full-fledged member until so long. They're joined it, but they're not a major. And that's kind of how they do it. And I know they had that last meeting, and I've never seen so many heads of state in my life. I'm going, my Lord. I thought there was only 22 counting majors and minors, but it's more than that now.
Yeah. Well, I suppose, Nickel, I should probably let you go. I definitely appreciate you coming and hanging out. And getting to hear your take on silver. You and me are both kind of, I think, more on the same page with silver.
Yes, but I think it is. I think it's out of favor in the community and with most stackers.
Yeah, I can see that as well, and it's kind of bumming me out.
But I think it's going to come back. I think it's going to come back, and you're going to see a lot of people come back to it. I think.
Yeah, but it's just that. I guess it's that's got me frustrated. That you got the down sentiment now when they should be very strong sentiment right now. I guess is kind of my point. For you and me, it's like, what in the world would you be thinking getting out of silver right now?
Right. They should be buying it every week.
Exactly. That's what it kind of, and then suddenly it's going to take off. Now, when it starts to take off, yeah, I think a bunch of people will come back in, but it'd been better if they'd have just been buying the whole time and holding the whole time. And because, to me at this point, there's some obvious signs showing you that that's what you should be doing. And I'm a little disappointed that they, I don't know, some people aren't seeing it that way. So
anytime you can get a item that was worth 50 or valued at 50 and should be more, but it did get officially to 50. and you can get it for 30% off, yeah, you should be buying it.
No doubt. Yeah, no, it's and it's we're not even to our 1980 high, unadjusted for inflation.
Right. So there's a plenty of room to move.
Oh man, talk about plenty of. I mean, if I went into all the detail, it just becomes too much. It's just there's so much of it at this point that's kind of it. Like, my goodness.
Again, the thing to look for is when Mexico, and they don't want to admit it, but one day they'll have to. When they say we are nearly out of silver in our mines, we're going to be closing too. We can't even with technology get to it. Then you've got a shockwave that'll hit the silver community, and silver at that point. Silver don't go down no more at that point. If it goes down, we're talking cents and a few dollars. We're not talking like it goes all the way down to 20. It won't be going back to 20 anymore when Mexico runs out.
Yeah, man, and that's crazy to think about. Mexico has been mining from like nonstop from what, like 1600, 1500?
Yeah, they have a load. I've always had a load of silver, but they depend on it. It's like Cuba depends on their tobacco and their sugar. And they're not. Cuba is not managing that sugar or tobacco correctly. The tobacco is not near the quality it used to be, but they need the money so bad that they're just growing it in all the fields instead of rotating fields, and they're probably doing sugar the same way. And they got the world's best sugar too. So you get that, and then it's the same thing with Mexico. They want that money so bad that they're gonna mine it out. Yeah. And when that happens, it changes. The whole game changes. Probably as big as this delivery stuff you hear. Can they deliver it here or there or whatever? Right, I think Mexico run out of silver. It's probably bigger than that.
Yeah, that's crazy. I mean, it must just be like hollow in Mexico. I mean, they have been mining Mexico for so long in silver. That's crazy.
But they guesstimate the people that know how much they've mined, how much they think they have left. They're saying 5 years they'll be mined out. They think.
Wow.
So, if anything, hang on to your silver. How old is most people? Most of them are younger than me. So, if you're 40, you can't wait to 45 and keep the silver. Come on, you've got young. That's young.
Oh,
so give it at least 5 more years, and then see.
Just hold it when there's this much. When the world lines are being redrawn and new monetary systems are being set up, and wars are happening because people are being shut out of monetary systems. Like, these are huge events. This is not the time to be like frustrated because of some premium and you're gonna sell right now. Like, it's just it's just so disconnected mentally to me that it's a little.
And another angle. Let's say that the system does crash down and we have to have a barter system. And that's another thing, by the way. When I started in, everybody thought there would be a barter system and you need constitutional silver for that. Now that's not the case. It's a minority belief that we'll need it. We will have a temporary barter system until a new system is put in process.
Yeah.
You want silver for that. You don't want gold for that. You just don't, because the people you're going to be dealing with probably won't have any metals. So if you're buying things from them or trading, you want to get something back if you got gold, and they may not have anything to give you back. And if what they have is bread, you don't want 10,000 pounds of bread.
Yeah.
What are you going to do with that? Right. So silver, it's a smaller denominated value type deal, and you'll be able to trade better with silver. So
for sure.
Yeah, I mean, some items, like if you have a gram of gold or even something smaller than a gram, that works for certain items. But I'm thinking most things that you're going to trade for, you really want silver.
Yep.
So
Yep, I think so.
And dimes are very important of all of them, of all the constitutional. I think dimes are a critical thing to have. That's what you want because it's the smallest denomination. Everybody knows what it is. You can add to it, right? I mean, you can say 2 dimes, 3 dimes, 4 dimes. That's just probably in actual the best constitutional silver to have is dimes. That's just my personal opinion.
Yeah, no, they're gonna be key as well. Yep. Yep, I just like stacking the pure stuff, like when I got in, I'm just like figuring it out. I'm like, well, let's just make it easy. 1 ounce of pure silver is easy to figure out. And that, when that's kind of my thing, like when I got in and it's, it was $12. I mean, you're still buying at 15, but it's like, just keep buying, just load up on it because you know how undervalued it is, and it's pure silver, and you can get a lot of it now for really cheap.
So when you started, it was $12 an ounce.
Well, at times, yeah, it was in 2017, and even again in 2018, it dropped down to 12, and it was volatile, and and there was more. And you had a couple dollar premium, so I didn't buy at 12, but I started buying. Yeah, it was like $15 or $15 to $18 for a large percentage of my stack.
You see, that's the amazing thing about silver is when it has its drops, it seems to stay at that drop point longer period than it should. You would think if it goes down, people would buy in, therefore it would go right back up. It don't seem to do that as much, not like stocks. Stocks, if it has a bad day and it goes way down, it generally recovers some the next day because there's buyers. Yeah. You just would think that the same thing would happen with silver. But we also know silver is the most manipulated asset of all time. And, they manipulate nickel too. We found that out when it got to 50 and they stopped it. They said, no trade, no more trading. They didn't want it to get over 50 a pound. So we know nickel's pretty manipulated too. But silver really has got to be the most manipulated asset out there.
Yep, I think so for sure too. I think it would be pretty hard to argue that it's not. In fact, it's the most undervalued thing right now from 1980 of like any other commodity. Like everything else is went way up from its, from the 80s. And silver is amongst everything moved the least.
And if you remember from the 70s to 1980, people don't realize this. Silver outperformed gold. I think it's going to outperform gold again.
Yeah.
And that's going to be the jump we see in silver. It's going to just really just explode upward over a period of time. And that gap between gold and silver is going to diminish. You're going to see it because it happened before. From 1971 to 1980, you saw all that happen. I think we're on repeat because I do really believe the system is going to be a lot like the 70s just because based on the similar situations going on now that then I think we got probably a stagflation period coming.
Yeah.
And then we had, I called it inflation, but now when you go back, they label it during the 70s to that 1980, they label it stagflation. So I don't think we had the term stagflation then. I had never heard that to afterwards. So now they say stagflation, and I think that's what we're going to have now.
Yeah. Yeah, and if we do have like a big drop, like if the markets really drop hard, and gold and silver can drop too, and if we go into sharp decline like that, economy-wise, and everything starts falling, silver and gold can fall, but it's going to be the least falling thing of everything else by quite a bit.
Right. If you had a depression, everything will go down, and even gold, but gold won't go down as much.
Right.
As the other items. So gold is definitely for a depression. You can't be in a better position than have gold.
Yeah.
And inflation, I still think the winner overall is silver. It may not look that way now, but it will end up the winner. Because silver outperformed it during the 70s. outperform gold.
Yeah. Yeah, Space Miner, you're saying that the natural ratio is 1 to 17, 1 to 18. And I hear that to mine it out, what you'll actually end out with nowadays is like 1 to 8, 1 to 10, 1 to 7, 1 to 10, something like that. So, yeah. Yeah, and with the being, yeah, I mean, if we're already in a deficit 5 years in a row, and when our stockpile runs out and we're pulling less out of our mines, and even if we start more up, it'll take years before they get finished silver product on somebody's desk. So, there is a lot of room for silver to move.
And two, also we talk about dimes. The best dimes to get are the Roosevelts, because you get more silver on those. They're not as worn. They're newer. So if I'm going to get a dime, I try to get Roosevelts. I don't like to get the Mercury because they're just more worn. Now you can get some good Mercuries, but a lot of them, most of the ones I've ever gotten in Mercury are almost always worn.
Yeah.
And I like war nickels. I'm one of the few that really likes war nickels. I think it's cool. I like them. They do have a silver content to them.
35, right?
Yeah, 35%. Yep. And I have no problem with war nickels. So that's another one that you could use in a barter scenario.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a kind of unique looking. A good one for you, nickel.
Yeah, the nickel. But that's the funny thing too about nickels. People always say, well, I keep nickels for nickel. I go, well, no, you're really keeping nickels for copper, because they're mostly copper.
Yeah.
So the same as a penny. So keep your pennies and your nickel for copper. I think it's, where's it costing you anything really? You get it back as change. If it's pre-82, the pennies, copper. If it's nickel, any type of nickel, it's copper.
Yeah.
So go ahead and just keep those for the copper content, because copper is going up. It is definitely going to go up.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess copper is doing pretty good here too lately. Yeah. Yep. All right, well, I think I better let you go before we just ramble on all night here. I need to go get something to eat.
Yeah, I think I'm going to eat spaghetti and meatballs.
Nice.
Yeah, I had them from the other day. I was showing the video, and I was eating on my video. I still got some of that left over, so I'm going to eat leftover. So
cool.
Put some of that cheese stuff on there, and that's probably what I'll have.
Nice. Well, yeah, it's good having you. I'm sure I'll get you back up here again, and we'll see what other kind of craziness is out. So much is happening in this first little bit of 2024 or 2025. Excuse me. That could be a lot by the end of the year.
Oh my Lord, yes. You could have an India-Pakistan scenario. You could have a bunch more war type scenarios against countries. You could against each other. You could have that. Yes, it could get really bad. We are going to hit Iran. There's no doubt about it. I mean, I would give it a 90% chance that that's going to happen. It costs us a lot of money to put all that together where we put it, flying the planes there.
Yeah.
And I mean, a ton of planes has gone in there, and a lot of supplies has gone in there. We are definitely planning a strike.
That's craziness. So not good.
Well, I mean, Iran's not liked by anybody other than the Houthis. So, and Hamas and Hezbollah.
Well, I think that they have some type of defensive, from what I've been hearing, some type of defensive ties with Russia.
Yeah, true. Russia will.
And if Russia steps in, you got all of BRICS there. So, goodness.
Yeah, well, and Yeah, we'll know if they hit us with a preemptive strike. The only way they could do it is weapons they got through Russia, and we're going to know it. So that's I don't know what happens. I just can't believe Russia wants to get involved in that.
I personally don't think Russia will strike at us first. I think they may if we go after Iran and they get pulled into it, perhaps. But I don't think that they will be a first striker.
Well, I think what Russia will do, maybe China. I think Russia will give them equipment so they can see us when we're flying in. Well, they can't see our stealth bombers. You can't see those. But I think if any other planes, they'll be able to see it, so they can use their anti-air defenses to try to take them out. Yeah. I definitely think that I'm sure Russia's sending that stuff to them now. And the only way they can hit us with a preemptive strike will try to take out our bombers on the
on the tarmac or something, right? Yeah.
Well, yeah, they had to have long range missiles, and the only place they could get them from would have to be Russia. And we would know Russia gave it to them, and that causes a whole bunch of more problems for Russia.
Yeah, I definitely something like that. See something like that being possible. Yeah,
and
I mean, we've all the weapons from Ukraine that the Russians are going through. It's all USA. You know.
Yeah, yeah. Well, England gave them some really nice anti-air.
Yeah. I mean, there's some, but I mean, you know. It's just like there's no avoiding that we're a huge supplier for the war there.
Right. I mean, could he have gone on? They probably could go on another 6 months without us, but you know, and they are getting an increase from England and all the others. But how much longer could France and Germany and England supply them? You know, I mean, they're only going to go to a point, and they're going to say, well, we can't, we don't have anything else to give you.
Yeah.
So definitely, I knew if America stepped back, I said, uh-oh.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you look at that scenario, you can't blame Zelensky. He didn't start the war. He is limited what he can do, and he doesn't want to give all of his resources away. Right? I mean, if the United States takes all the resources, what are they going to do? They won't have nothing. You might as well let Russia take you over, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, and then but supposedly Trump is going to really get on Putin because he is not playing along. He's not. He's the problem right now, and he already bought out Zelensky, which I thought that was a bad move. It looked bad. I didn't like that either. But he's already done that, so now it's Putin's turn because he is really dragging his feet. Mm-hmm. Not to mention,
I mean, I think they're, you know, like on Russia's side, I think they're not feeling pressure now like they were. You know, they're doing fine. So I think they're going to continue to bulldoze forward until either an agreement is had or they reach their goal.
And then now he's getting involved in the Iran thing.
Exactly. Yep.
So, but Iran, they have no chance against the United States of America. Absolutely. They had no chance against Israel. You know, because everybody said, oh, they could whoop Israel. I said, no, Israel's got a lot more than Iran had. Iran is so outdated. Their fighters are from the 1960s. Come on. You know, I mean, they have no chance. And their tanks probably date back to the 80s. So, I mean, they just...
I don't know how we, like... I'm a little bit shocked to see the stuff that I see online showing all of the stuff that we have openly on, like, YouTube. And it's like, are we, you know, and I seen, like, a few of the undergrounds of, like, what the Houthis claim to have and whatnot, you know, and so, but we don't really know. Like, I know that we know that they have that stuff from the 80s, but we don't know what they've been concocting from then, do we?
Well, I will tell you the most effective weapon right now that Iran has is these drones. And they're not great, but it's the most effective. They've done more damage to people and boats and ships and everything. They've done more damage with the drones than they have anything else they've got. And they're relatively cheap. compared to the missiles.
Yeah.
But there's been some drones get through. There were some drones that Israel could not pick up on radar. And they don't know how they do it and what they're made out of. I don't think they have many of them, but those are very effective. They got all the way into Tel Aviv. So that tells you that there are drones apparently out there that you can't detect.
Wow. Yeah, if they find that's just it, because there's so much built up. Like I was saying, and I know nothing about those states over there and the areas, but I was listening that, so we're bombing the Houthis or however you say it, but right next to them is Saudi Arabia, and I guess Saudi Arabia wants the Houthi land already. Like they're kind of already at war.
Oh yeah, remember a couple. What was it, about 2-3 years ago? They got one of their oil fields bombed. Remember that? And it was probably the Houthis that did that.
I do, now that you mentioned it. I do kind of remember that. Yeah.
Yeah, and so the Houthis own like the southern part of Yemen, and they're still at war. It's still a civil war going on. How they're able to fight a civil war and try to take out every ship that comes by the coast, I don't know how they're doing it.
That's it. Like, I kind of sometimes wonder if we don't know, like, how much they've been, because they have had, I mean, they're in constant. Iran is like all of these cultures have moved, the coins have changed, empires fallen, changed, but there's one place that has just hasn't changed, and that's Iran. They've been there from get-go.
Yeah, but the mullahs want to go back to the 16th century, but the Iranian people want a modern Iran. You know, they it won't take much for the people to turn it up and do it. If we weaken them to the point where the military can't be used against its own people, they'll take that country back. They'll just tear them apart hand by hand.
Who will who break that down for me a little bit?
The Iranian people. The Iranian people will take their country back, and it'll be a modern
from Yemen or what?
No, Iran. It'll take it away from the current leadership.
Oh, okay, I see what you're saying.
So it'll be a whole different. It'll be an ally at that point. It won't even be an enemy anymore. So I think the days of the mullahs, or what you want to call them, I think that they're Khomeinis or whatever. I believe their days are numbered. I mean, that the people are not happy with the system they have to live in. It's too conservative, too strict, not modern. They want to, I think, more freedom. They want to be a updated country. They want to do updated things. They want to be, like all the other countries. So I believe if we can do enough damage, that maybe the Iranian people will take care of the rest of it for us.
Huh. Interesting.
And then they'll be a great ally. I mean, they may even be friends with Israel, at that point. And then the whole Middle East kind of changes, because the troublemaker in the Middle East is Iran, who uses all these proxy groups to do all their work for them. And until they did eventually shoot missiles at Israel the first time ever, that they directly attacked Israel. But for the most part, they're always behind the scenes, but never do any of the real damage themselves. And you can't point a finger at them. They'll say, well, it wasn't us.
Interesting.
So, but I think that you could see, major change there. Will Iran be like America? No. The traditions are different. It'll never be like Iraq. Bush tried to make Iraq America.
Yeah, right.
And all he got out of it was 2 pairs of shoes.
Yeah.
Remember, he had a duck, the shoes?
Yeah.
The slippers?
Yep.
That's all he got out of it. I knew that wasn't going to happen. I said, you can't do that. They're just different. Their culture's different. Yeah. Values are different.
Right. Their
history's different. They'll never be in America. You can't do it. And I knew that was going to fail.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's an amazing time to be alive and to see it all happen. That's for sure. See it happening.
Well, another big issue is, will Turkey stay in with NATO, or will they end up going to BRICS? That's something you got to watch for too.
Yeah, I kind of think they used they made a power move themselves, right? And now they're going to start distancing themselves and try to
Well,
bulk
I think they're going
themselves
to
up and-
they're going to try to take at least a third of Syria, and I think
Yeah.
Iran will probably end up with a third of Syria.
That's what I think too. And
And when the Bible says Damascus lays in ruin or it's no more.
yeah,
Well, I believe that eventually it will be done away with and be named something else, and that would fulfill the Bible, because it's definitely got some ruins. I mean, it's not like Disneyland. I mean, there's damage there. It's been damaged. And then if someone comes in and the new rulers change the name, that would fulfill the prophecy, because it's no longer, it says no more. So there's no more Damascus. It's not known as Damascus anymore.
right.
And that's one of the things. And so we're probably living in the last days. I think
Yeah.
you go by the Bible.
Right. Yeah, it's definitely getting interesting. That's for sure. All right, Nickel. Well, we'll keep an eye on it. We'll get you back on and go over it again sometime. Appreciate having you on.
Thank you for having me, and I'll get the payment to you on the.
Okay, yeah. You want me to send you an invoice, or do you want
Yeah,
to just do a cash? All right.
You send the invoice. That'd be great.
Right.
Yeah, I bought some osmium, folks. I bought some more osmium.
Damn, Skippy. Cool. All right, we'll do. We'll talk soon. And everybody out there in chat world, thanks for hanging out. Thanks for stopping by and saying what's up. And we will be back. What is today? So we'll be back Saturday, and possibly before that with something. But definitely Saturday, and more great stuff to come. So stay tuned. Catch you all on the next one.